I just bought this lot for $300,000 cash, and I'm gonna flip it and make $700,000 profit. Today, I'm gonna tell you how. So backing up a little bit, for those of you who saw my real estate investing video, I basically showed you my house, which is right there, and the new house that I'm building, which is there. Unfortunately, there's a lot in between the two properties. It's 1/3 of an acre, and in that video, I told you, or I sort of alluded to the fact that I was going to try and buy it. Little secret, I knew I was buying it, I just didn't want the dude selling it to hear what I was about to do with it. So this lot in between my house and my new house is an incredible lot. Now, sure, there are some issues, right? The dirt might not be 100%, there's a pipe in the back, but I've already dealt with that issue over there with that house, so I know what I'm getting into. So this lot, I've been trying to buy literally from this dude for about 3 years. I knew that I wanted to own it. I didn't want somebody else to come in, or him, to come in and build some like shit house in between my nice house and the really nice house that I'm building, right? I wanted to control it. And so about 2 years ago, I went to him, I said, hey, would you be interested in selling me the lot? And he's like, well, how much? I said, $300,000, knowing that he paid $195,000 for it about 4 years ago. Like, nah, I think I'm gonna hold on to it. So anyway, long story short, I meet him out here a few months ago, and I'm like, look, are you sure you don't want to sell it to me? He goes, yeah, it is for sale, but I think I'm gonna try and get $550,000 for it. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, it doesn't work that way. I'm like, you can ask for whatever you want, but it doesn't mean you're gonna get it. The way that it works basically in terms of lot price and home value, typically what you're gonna find is 20% of the price of a house is allocated for the lot or the land. So if somebody was gonna pay like $500,000 for that lot, they would have to build a $2.5 million home. I'm gonna get about $2 million for my house. Now, in terms of square footage, my house is 5,700 square feet. So the price per square foot for my house is around $350 per square foot. Whether you find that $2 million price of the house divided by the square footage. Actually, it's starting to rain. Let's go inside. Long story short, I'm not going to go into all the like nuance of our negotiation, which really wasn't a negotiation. I'm like, hey, I'll buy it for $300,000 cash, close in a week, I'll cover closing costs. And he was like, let me think about it. And he's like, okay. And so that's what happened. I ended up buying it for $300,000. All right, so here we go. Let's talk a little bit of strategy. So I buy this lot for $350,000. I personally feel like I got a good deal on it. I think that I could put it on the market today and sell that lot pretty easily for like $350,000. I could make $50,000 on my money really quickly, or I could sit on it and wait until I finish my house next to it and sell this house. What's gonna happen at that point is you're gonna have a $2 million house that recently sold here where I'm sitting, and then a more than $2 million house right next to me. And so what happens at that point, that lot right in between us is gonna be more valuable. At that point, after the houses are finished, I feel like I could sell that lot for around $425,000. Now, I've made $125,000 on my money. Or you could do what I'm gonna do and build a spec home and make a lot more money. Here's how it's gonna work. Once these houses are finished, right, this house, $2 million is paid for in cash. So I'm gonna have like $2 million from the sale of this house. What am I gonna do with it, right? That other house that I'm building is already paid for. So this $2 million, I'm thinking, okay, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna invest it and build a spec home. Spec home stands for speculation or speculatory, right? I'm speculating that if I build a super expensive luxury home, where I am in terms of the proximity, we are really close to the Marietta Square, prime walkable area, amazingly sexy. People want to live here. It's also really hard to find something nice and new near the square. A lot of the stuff around here is older and needs to be remodeled, and so the market for what I will build is big. Now, of course, it's not as big as somebody wanting to spend $250,000 for a house, but the market and the clientele that will be willing to spend $2.5 to $3 million for the home that I'm going to build, they're a different buyer. Typically, they're gonna pay cash. And if you can buy a house or spend $2 million, you can spend $2.5. And if you can spend $2.5, you can spend $3. There are people out there with a lot of money that will pay for quality. And because I'm gonna be paying cash for everything, if it sits on the market for 6 months, 8 months, like whatever, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. The other thing is I love doing it. I love building. And so for me, even if I broke even, it would be a fun project. I'm also thinking possibly long term, like if this actually works, maybe I'll do it again, right? Because when you actually go higher end, you can make more money. And that's the thing that I've kind of come to learn. My builder, give you a great example. My builder, Michael, basically bought a house on a road. It was a great location for $2.5 million, and he gutted it. and he renovated it. He spent an additional $3 million fixing it up. So he has $5.5 million in this house. He just sold it for $9 million. Boom! Think about that. He invested $5.5 million. It took less than a year to do the remodel, and then he sold it for like $9 million. He literally made like $3.5 million. Profit! For me, I can't do that next door because of the size of the lot. It's 1/3 of an acre, and basically I know that I can build pretty much the exact same size house that I have here. I could literally like almost replicate this exact floor plan, this exact house on the lot next door. It's basically like the same size lot, right? This one that I'm on is just a little bit bigger. Anyway, this house here, I know, is 5,700 square feet, so I could do the same thing. Now, the square footage in terms of per square foot cost for this house, $350. Now, to build it for me, it was around like $290,000, right? In this house, I have about $1.2 million. So I'm gonna be making a significant profit on it. Now, I've also hired a designer and done other things, so the cost is actually more than that, but that's just a rough estimate and idea. Now, the cool thing is that when I built this, I thought I was going like super premium in terms of like the finishes. I have come to realize that it is not super premium. There is a higher level, and people will pay for a higher level. This house, I would say, is $350 a square foot. That one, I'm gonna try and get $450 a square foot. The sale price for the house next door that I'm gonna build is gonna be somewhere around the $2.6 million mark. And doing the math, if I invest $1.5 million plus the lot, that's $1.8, right? How much money did I make? Do the math. $800,000. I'm gonna work with the same architect team that I worked with to design my new house so that it has a similar feel and vibe. It's gonna be premium. It's gonna be one of the nicest houses in my immediate area, and I'm really excited about it. Now, the truth is that I just love doing this. And so if I can do something I love, sort of test it out, if it doesn't sell for $2.8 million, if I literally broke even $1.8 million, and I learned a lot and had fun doing it, and it keeps me out of trouble and keeps me from actually building myself a new house, my wife will be totally cool, and it's something that basically I just enjoy doing. But my thought process is if it works and it's done well, I could do it again. You know, for me, what I'm thinking is I gotta start thinking bigger, and that's something that I struggle with, right? I come from a very blue collar, community. I, didn't grow up with people that had money or thought really big, but one of the things that I've been trying to push myself to do is think bigger. So anyway, I just wanted to share kind of my thoughts and my strategy behind what I want to do with that lot. The other option is for me just to sit on it and wait. And when I get tired of living in a big house and I want to downsize, I can always build myself a house right next to my old houses. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I think that I'm going to try this, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I'm comfortable risking the money. I'm comfortable trying something different that I think will be fun. And it allows me to scratch that itch. And like I've mentioned before, I think that I want to get into development on a larger scale a little bit, down the road. And so this is a great way for me to kind of explore that and to learn. I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm excited. And for me, it's about thinking bigger. So anyway, gentlemen, that's the story. I just wanted to kind of share my experience and what I'm thinking in terms of strategy with that lot. Maybe you got some value out of this, maybe you didn't, but if you enjoyed this video and want more real estate, drop me one of these and say, "Yo, Alpha, tell us more about your Alpha Empire real estate strategy."